Up guys, today's video is going to be about what getting my private pilot's license like. Back in college I went to Kansas State University, the Polytechnic. I'm not sure what they call it now, but it's a flight school out in Salina, Kansas. And yeah, I learned to fly there. So I got my private there, all my ratings except for my MEI, I think I got there, and I learned to fly there. Currently an airline pilot, fly a 737. I was at a regionals for a while at Endeavor, flew a CRJ 900, 700 there. Now I just fly the 73s all the time. I fly cargo airplanes and I also fly charters a lot. So I fly some cargo aircraft charters. I also fly the normal passenger flights with people. So I get to do all three. And so that's my qualifications. I'm also a CFI, a MEI, double I, some other ground license stuff, and yeah, but so I have lots of experience now, thousands of hours and whatever else, but back then I did not have that experience. So when I was in high school, I had no idea what I was really doing when I was becoming a pilot. Everything else looked super miserable and I did not want to do anything else. Kind of made a weird video about that earlier, but yeah, I decided there was nothing else that looked intriguing to me, and so I decided, hey, I'm gonna just become a pilot. It's the only thing that looks nice, and I'm into airlines, or I'm into cars and motorcycles and stuff like that, so I went ahead and decided to become a pilot. So I've never flew an airplane before I started college to become a professional airline pilot, and I had zero experience. I watched Steve Knievel's videos online, and that was pretty much the extent of my exposure to aviation. I watched a few YouTube videos and that was really it. And then I got an airplane and flew it the first time. So I was horrified of heights before this. I won't ride roller coasters, any of that. I just don't like it. So I don't know what made me think I was going to become an airline pilot, or what led me to become one. When I was horrified of heights. Now the heights don't bother me at all. So after my very first flight, I realized that was completely something I didn't even have to think about. It was not a big deal, super minor. And flying an airplane and riding a roller coaster, riding in the back of an airplane is not the same as being up high on the ladder or whatever you might be worried about. So if you're scared of heights and you're thinking about flying, this should not really bother you, hopefully. Some people it does bother a little bit, and every once in a while I'd fly like a 172 up super high at like 9,000-10,000 feet or whatever, and I look over, I'm like, oh, it's kind of high. And it's kind of a weird feeling, but I never was scared really, so you don't have to be worried. At least for me it wasn't an issue. But yeah, so I had no experience, showed up, and I got my private pilot in one semester. I was, I believe, the only person in my class that started there to get it done in one semester, which is not a brag or anything. I just took to it well. I had a lot of various experience. My dad worked for TWA as a mechanic at the big overhaul base in Kansas City, so he took me to a lot of air shows, brought me around to a lot of aviation and stuff, and we built like a little airplane instrument panel with old instruments that he had laying around, but he never really truly per se like took me flying. I've been in a large airplane like a airliner, but I'd never been in a little one before I went up and flew one for the first time. So I watched a few videos, showed up, and I did what they told me. I studied super hard. So if you're getting your private pilot's license, you're gonna have to study. If you show up and you think, oh, I'm just gonna show up and fly and barely study the ground stuff, you're probably gonna fail. And a lot of my students, they were great at flying, but they couldn't study and they failed out. So remember that. If you're not willing to put that effort forth, you're not gonna succeed. I'll just be blunt about it. Save yourself all the money. If you say, you'd rather party in college and drive, for us, all the guys that struggled a lot would drive up to Manhattan and party every weekend, and half those guys are just getting to the regionals, and I've been at the airlines for 5-6 years now. So take that for what it is and realize that you need to put your education first. You're spending a ton of money on it, or your parents are, or someone is. So don't screw around and not take it seriously. You got to show up, study hard. When you got to be proactive too. When you do this, there's tons of stuff online, like private pilot study guides and all, and you'll study that. But I'll walk you through what it's like getting your private pilot. Like I said, I'm a CFI, current airline pilot, so take my advice for what it is. I can still be wrong. I haven't taught students to fly airplanes in probably 5-6 years, so remember that. It's been a long time for me as well. And I taught part 141 and part 61 as an instructor, so I'll run you through what your prog checks may look like, or what they looked like when I was there at the time, and also talk about what your part 61 training will look like, because you won't have prog checks, and how that would. Your CFI might make little ones, but might look different for you, so I'll talk about it. If you're part 141, I'll jump in there. So you're going to like a college or a certified training program or whatever, and so you show up, and so the first thing you're going to work towards is just basic skills of flying the airplane. You're going to do turns, left, right, up, down, climbs, descents, stalls. Stalls are no big deal. You essentially either pull the power to idle in your airplane, or you give it full power, and then you just go until your airspeed slows, and then you drop the nose. The nose just kind of falls a little bit, and then you just let the airplane regain airspeed by losing a little bit of altitude and adding power back in. No big deal, depending on the type of stall you do and all, right, but super easy. Don't be afraid of those. No big deal. Keep yourself coordinated on them, obviously, which is, if you don't know what that means, your pedals, foot pedals. Or else I'll leave that surprise for you if you're a new pilot. And kidding, you'll spin the airplane. Don't do that unless you want to. But yeah, so you'll work towards soloing. A solo is where you go fly the airplane by yourself. Your instructor steps out and you'll go do a lap around the pattern. So the pattern, you'll fly a little box pattern, you take off, fly a little rectangle, come back and land. That's all that is. So, but you learn how to do turns, and then you work on VFR maneuvers as well, which is like fly a square over a field, fly a circle over a field, fly a rectangle over a field, do a turn and keep an equal distance, showing you know how to correct for wind, stuff like that. Really easy, honestly. It feels like a lot of work when you're new to it, but when you look back at it, you're like, all I had to do was fly a circle, and I could just look down and do it. You're like, it seems hard at the time, but as you progress and all, it gets easier and easier. So you'll do that, and then once you do that, you'll take your prog check, and you'll go out and show that you can land the airplane safely a bunch of times. Do like short field, soft field landings, normal landings, that you're capable of operating the airplane. You can handle it if there's an engine failure or fire. So it's just a lot of procedurals. Essentially, right here is you're becoming a base pilot, where you just learn to look out the window and do a little bit of instrument interpretation and operate the airplane. That's essentially all that is, and you're just showing them that you can handle it. And then you're probably wondering, how long does that take? Some of my friends took 20 to 30 hours to solo. I did it. I soloed in, I think, under 10 hours or 8 hours or something like that. I don't even know, but some people do it really quick, some people don't. Don't worry about it. Worry more about understanding the base skills, because if you don't get those skills down early and you kind of half understand them or something, you might screw yourself later in the future not knowing what you're doing. And so get them down, learn those base skills. Once you do that, your next step is learning to do cross countries. And so learning cross countries, you think, oh, I'm flying from LaGuardia to LA. No, you're not. You're going like 50 miles away, and that's nautical miles too. But yeah, you're just gonna essentially learn to fly from wherever your airport is to some other airport 50 miles away, and look at the ground and point at things and say, that's how I know that I'm on course and going the right way. And then you'll also do something where you learn about VORs and GPS, and you can say, oh, here's how I'm using my airplane instruments, I can know where I am. And then you'll learn how to interpret weather and do your flight plans. I used to have to learn how to do them on paper. Now maybe you'll learn how to do it all on your iPad or your ForeFlight or Garmin, whatever they use now. Airline pilots don't use that, so I'm not up with the VI or the Trins now. It used to be, I think, 4Flight's the big one everyone uses. Airline pilots use something else, so yeah, I'll skip past that. But you'll just fly from place to place, and it's pretty easy. You'll go with your instructor a couple times, and then eventually you'll just gotta hold my glove. The big check is you'll go with someone and show them, you know, how to do all the cross-country planning, and you know how to look up at the airports and tell all the information about them, check the weather, you know how to navigate and do all these things. So before you're just worrying about flying the airplane around, taking off, landing at the same airport, maybe you got to go to a couple other airports, who knows. But the second part is, okay, now I'm going all over the place, and if I've never been to, like from Salina, we'd fly to Wichita, or we go to Abilene or Manhattan or Hayes. Now you're going to all these different cities and you're learning how to go new places. So that's the second step. And then your third step, because there's only 3 steps in this, depending on what your 141 training is like. And then your 4th step is just bring it all together. Now I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna show that you can do cross country, you know all the rules, regulations regarding being a private pilot, you know how to navigate, aviate using your outside the stuff, a little bit of the inside the stuff like VORs and GPS and ADF and DBs, whatever your airplane's equipped with and they want to see. And then you'll also work on, so you just work on showing them that you know what you're doing there, essentially, that you are a fully capable pilot of becoming a private pilot, which is where you just look out the window, you never fly in clouds or anything, and you fly all over, and that you know how to go places, you know how to handle the aircraft appropriately, and that in emergencies you can do it, you can do all these maneuvers. And then so that's your stage 3 check. And then so once you're done with that, you might do that, you may be done flying, you might go right to take your check ride, or you might go polish up a couple little things, and then after that you go take your check ride, and essentially your stage 3 prog check. Some schools that is the check ride, maybe, I might be wrong, I don't know. And then other schools you don't, you just go straight to your check ride. But you go take it with a DPE, so like some certified pilot guy by the FAA. Some are good, some are bad. Make sure you know people that have been with them that can say they're good people. They charge a ridiculous price now to do it. So check rides are, used to be like $300 when I would do them. Now they're like $1,000 or $2,000, I've heard, for some people, and you have to wait forever. And flight training really has gone downhill. The government and the FAA and flight schools have really just, the demand for pilots has gone up, and the level of professionalism that the government and flight schools give has gone down from what it used to be. I mean, the standard slip, you have really bad people that are just not good pilots, some of them, or whatever, you know, running flight schools. Not everyone. Some places are great, you have great people, but there's just not a lot of experience there because they can't retain good instructors or good head chief pilots and all this stuff, because all the good people realize they could go get a job at an airline that pays $1 billion times more, you know, $100,000 a year starting, plus with big bonuses to start, you know, to go to a regional even, and so everyone just leaves. But yeah, so that's part 141. Part 61 is exactly the same thing. So your instructor is open to doing it however they want, so they could tweak it, but usually you'll do the same type of training, work to your solo, you'll go solo, then you do all your cross countries, and you'll go do all your cross countries, and then stage 3, you just, this third part, it's not really in parts, it's just a progression. You just work to your solo cross country, and then you get everything all perfect and make sure you know all the rules, regulations, and you become a competent pilot, and then you go take your check ride. So that is essentially what part 61's like. I'll speak to the instructors. If you have a bad instructor, switch. I'm not kidding. Hurt feelings, don't care what happens. There's bad instructors out there. Some of these people suck. A lot of people, just like me, I put a lot of effort into it because I thought you know, I thought these students that are paying me and to pay for the airplane, that are giving someone's hard-earned money to me or to the airplane or whatever to learn how to fly. So I gave them my absolute all. I did everything I could to help those people do the best they can. And I won't say all the instructors are like that. Some people will try to milk you for flight time so they get more hours and stuff like that. Just, if you think that's happening, go fly with a different instructor. Just request it, set it up somewhere else, go fly with a different instructor and see if you jive with them better. And if you do, change instructors, because it's not worth 10 grand of screwing around with someone that is just a bad instructor, you know, and then losing a bunch of money and whatever else, failing a check ride, not knowing stuff. Just switch. Don't be afraid to switch. Some people don't work. Some instructors are just bad. Some people are just bad instructors. You know, my instructors that taught me, I was their first student ever. I got my private pilot in like under 40 hours, I think 35. I did the bare minimum. I did great, got through instrument super fast too in a semester and all. That doesn't always work for everyone. That's not the case. Don't plan to expect that. Don't think that's going to be you. I didn't think it was going to be me. To be honest, I had no idea what was happening when I went through it all. I'm speaking from experience. I just showed up. I got lucky I didn't get screwed. But make friends, talk to people, a group of people that will not be afraid to tell you if you have a bad instructor or something, because, you know, it's good to know. Some instructors might have a bad rep, but are really good people. My cfii instructor, I think, was a guy that everyone said was like the hardest person ever. He was super chill, super nice. He taught me how to fly great. He was a little wimpy about flying in winds and turbulence, but a great guy. I mean, I was happy to fly with him. Weird personality, but he was a great instructor, and I would have taken him earlier, you know, have him teach me my CFI, or requested him if I knew that. My person that taught me how to be a CFI was just like a bad instructor, had an ego. They were one of the chief pilots of the school. They didn't really know what they were doing. They were mean, rude, they were emotional. That's not a place in aviation that you should have. And if you messed up, instead of teaching, well, it was a lady and she'd get mad, and that's not good. That's not how aviation's supposed to be. If you mess up or something, just, wow, there's so much, will not go past me. There you go. But if you mess up, it's a learning moment, you know. Don't be mean to someone. Tell them, hey, whatever. But I don't know, I won't go too far into it, but bad experience with them. And then after that, I never had a bad instructor again, and it was my CFI, so I was able to handle it well. But some people are just not good instructors, even if I think that was the chief pilot of the school, or at the time, or a temporary one or whatever. They were bad. There's nothing wrong with that. The other guy was below her that taught me cfii, and he was a million times better. So don't be afraid to be honest and change instructors, because the way they teach, just maybe it was just her, she was a good instructor, and I just learned differently than how she taught, because I was extremely successful, minimum time. I passed my CFI and all. It was a breeze. It was not hard, but she just wasted my time. That's it. She could have done better teaching me instead of being mean all the time and being overly emotional and stuff. And not to say that's all women pilot, it was just her. I've had some instructors that were women that were like amazing. So some of that, well, my best student ever was a woman, so don't get that wrong. But yeah, so take it what it is. Don't be afraid to change things up. Study really hard on your own, because if you don't, you're gonna get screwed. You're gonna waste all your money and get nothing out of it. So yeah, that's through there. There's plenty of other resources. This is just a big overview and just the base, you know, and that's about it. I'll probably make some of these about going through instrument, commercial, CFI, II, MEI, what going through airlines is like. If you want me to make a video about something, leave it in the comments. I'll try to make a video about it. But yeah, private pilot's not bad. It's super easy. Just don't give up, don't get discouraged, and you got to commit. That's my biggest thing. Fully commit. You're gonna spend 10, 15, 20 grand, I don't know, at least 10 grand probably on getting your private. That's $10,000 that if you fail or give up on, there's, you know, that's a lot of money. That's wasted. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to do it. I mean, if you put your forth your effort, you can do it. There's some people that really just don't have it. I've flown with in aviation that are at the airlines and all, that just suck at being pilots, but you can grind it out and get there. It might cost you a little more. You might have to work harder than some people, it seems like, but don't be afraid. You'll learn those skills, and it might take you, I know people that took 100 hours to get their private and then turned around and did fantastic on every other rating. They just struggled to get the basics down, but once they did fine. So, but I've also met people, I'll say this too, that just weren't cut out for aviation, and you need to realize that quickly if you're one of them. Don't spend 100 grand and then realize you're just not cut out to be a pilot and you can't do it. You know, put your ego aside and put your pocketbook or your wallet, your bank account forward, and realize that if you're not cut out for it, you're not cut out for it. Don't waste your money. Just give up, move on. And that's a hard thing to say, but there really is some people that just can't do it. They just can't handle the stress or the pressure or whatever, and that's okay. Don't feel bad. You will find purpose in something else. You'll find out some other job, but maybe this one's just not for you. So, but if it is, you'll do great. It's a great career. Make a bunch of money. You'll have the world's easiest life. You'll have a bunch of fun going cool places, and you'll get to see lots of things. Flying airplanes is like riding a motorcycle. It's a hobby. I mean, it's just fun. When you're going through private, I rushed super fast to get through mine. I studied hard. I just wanted to get through it. I didn't know that most people took more than a semester. I thought, you know, as a 141 student learning, that you had to get it done. So I worked really hard and got it done. It's okay if you don't move at a fast pace or whatever. Don't compare yourself, right? Comparison is a thief of joy. You shouldn't be doing that. Just focus really hard and you'll be successful. Like I said, leave a comment with anything you might have questions about and I'll make a video. This isn't an in-depth video. This is instruction, right? This is just me saying, like, hey, if you're thinking about going to school to be a pilot, or you're thinking about getting into aviation, this is my experience of getting my private. I had a vastly different experience to reach rating, and each airline I'm at is different and whatever, but there is a space for you in aviation if you find your way, and at least right now it's a pretty good time, and I foresee in the future it being pretty good. It's also a super unstable job. If 9/11 happens again, or if COVID happens, a lot of people might lose their jobs, and I might be working at your local gas station. So things happen in aviation. It's unpredictable, it's unreliable. It's the best job ever. For me personally, like I said, never flew an airplane before I went to go fly, and now when I go to work, I just have fun. I just go to work and hang out. I don't stress at all about it. So yeah, I just go have fun and enjoy it. And the regionals, I hated the airlines, and then I came to my current major where I fly my 7.3 and do all the various types of flying, and I love it. The job, it's a whole different job. So even if you get all the way done and you get to the regionals and you hate your job there, like I did, and you think, man, okay, I mean, I looked at jobs outside of aviation even during that time, then I just hated it so much. The regionals are so stupid when I was there. But then I got to a major airline type of thing that I'm at, a low cost, but I also fly cargo and charters, whatever. I mean, do whatever you want, and there's a spot for you. Don't get discouraged. Keep your eyes open, look around. Sometimes you just got to take the first job that calls too. Don't be embarrassed about that. You know, diversify your skill set too. That's great. 61, 141, all that stuff. Teach it, do whatever you can, and life will be good. It's a great job. You'll have fun. Flying airplanes is genuinely fun. I'm not kidding. Like, you go to work and you get to hang out, do long flights. I flew, like yesterday I flew back from LA, and you know, you would never play on your phone while flying or anything like that, but you just sit there and chill, and I mean, you just have a good day. That's all it is. So it's a good job. It's a lot of fun. People are pretty nice. There's a lot of weird people in aviation, so a lot of the influencers and stuff are really weird people, A lot of the online CFIs and stuff give you stupid advice and things like that. Be cognizant and careful of that, but also realize it's a fantastic job and it's worth a little bit of suffering sometimes because you get so much awesomeness out of it all. So I don't know why I'm getting like pure static in my headset. That's weird. But yeah, just don't be afraid of your job and enjoy it. That's it for today. If you have any questions, leave a comment and I will answer or make a video about aviation for you, and then you can get that answered, or I'll give you a full video on it. I can do all kinds of other videos too over different topics, so don't be afraid to ask.